All right, everyone. Significant mass protests are now being planned in Venezuela. Maduro has lost additional legitimacy. You had a brief uprising, actually, in the wake, I think, of the video I made the other day, where some local National Guard members had actually staged a revolt. Unfortunately, it didn't actually materialize in anything larger. Like, it was just one unit or a couple units, I guess, locally. But, I mean, there was fighting involved, and that certainly when the people begin seeing people in uniform fighting other people in uniform, it kind of changes the narrative from, hey, we're a bunch of basically peasants with sticks at this point, and then sometimes not that because we've eaten them, and we have to face off against this military force. Now it's more like, well, we've got some of these people on our side now. It can actually help get things rolling, and now, officially speaking, the U.S., a lot of the Latin American states, the opposition certainly there, and other forces within the world are officially recognizing as interim, they're recognizing the illegitimacy of Maduro. That is, that they're no longer recognizing him as actually, fundamentally, legally speaking, in charge of the country at all, because the opposition does have the will of the people, I think, at this point behind them. And so they've got an interim president. I'm probably going to actually butcher this name, but Juan Guaido, something along those lines, from Voluntad Popular, I believe is the name of the party. It's sort of a reformist party, but here's the thing, again, like before, Maduro needs to go. Preferably he'd go in the briny seas. They just fucking dump him off a ship or something with concrete shoes. That probably won't happen, though. They'll probably put him in jail, and then he'll be in exile or something, and people spring him from jail. It'll be, some weird shit down there. He'll end up running cocaine with a cartel, in all honesty. He won't be paying for it in bolivars. What would happen if the opposition takes over, unfortunately, is I don't think that the reform that they've got in mind does fundamentally anything. Here's what I see unfortunately happening. Without foreign involvement, without a foreign power coming in and restoring order, and the world coming in, bailing them out, restructuring, denationalizing their oil industry especially, and helping them out with great benevolence, which the world community is not very good at. They're very good at robbing one another blind. Another problem. Unfortunately, the opposition doesn't want to abandon socialism. They don't want to abandon the oil-based monocultural economy. They don't want to abandon debt spending. All they want to do is stop killing people. The problem is that if you don't abandon your socialist financial platform, the economy will continue to be shitty. People will continue to protest and revolt and throw rocks and stuff, and you will have no choice, in the name of order, this is what they will say, but to break some necks and bash some skulls. That's ultimately what will happen. What you could have happen, opposition comes in, a few months later, a year later or something, the economy's still flatlining. Debt is still high, hyperinflation's still there, no restructuring has taken place on the economic side, and then you have further problems, you have further unrest. Maduro's people potentially say, look, see how corrupt they are, you are better off with us, and for some people that will seem to be true, and so naturally they will take up arms and try to get some Maduro's inner circle back in power or something. You'll have a perpetual revolution that'll spiral until the nation is sub-third world, no longer has a functioning government. That's possible. The hope is that the opposition manages to convince the military to rise up, say, look, Maduro's no longer your El Presidente at all. He's no longer your leader anyway. Fucking get rid of him. I'm in charge now. We need to have a new election at some point and restructure things. People are starving. The hope is that the military gets rid of Maduro and then insists on backing off of socialism. Much more important than simply getting rid of Maduro, saying, okay, well, this other guy's in charge now. That's not going to help. The military there needs to take up arms and insist on the abolition of socialism, adopt a Bolsonaro-style economic scenario. Eventually you'll have a functioning economy again. Now, of course, you'll go through some definite painful decisions with regards to socialistic spending in the meantime, and it will involve foreigners coming in, bailing you out in exchange for access to the means of production within Venezuela. What fucking difference does it make other than people will have more than one meal a day finally, and they won't have to wait in line for an hour at the grocery store? If they wait in line, it'll be because people have money and they're there to purchase things, rather than because there's nothing to purchase and people are just waiting for the store to open with its blacked out windows, waiting to see how many rotten cabbages are available for sale. That would be a much better idea. The opposition there needs to go more hardline and say, well, we're going to abandon socialism. It hasn't worked. We'd be lunatics to continue this shitty experiment. Chavez was crazy. Maduro is crazy. It leads inevitably to authoritarianism because it is too centralized, and we actually, ironically enough, need a bunch of corporatistic foreign firms to come in now to restore our economy to some semblance of proper order. That's the only thing that's going to save Venezuela. That or the oil prices massively rise to like 300 a barrel. It's not going to happen, dude. The U.S. is now the main oil producer of the world. The Saudis refuse to turn off their spigots because they're already, barely breaking even. The other countries, they don't have the will to do anything about it. Consumption is beginning to drop off in post-industrial societies as green energy and certainly natural gas as well take hold. Venezuela is doomed unless it diversifies its economy. Look, you got a perfect climate for doing all sorts of wonderful farming. Niche crops, everything from niche crops to, staple grains and whatever, you could do that. You have some access to minerals, lumber, and so forth. Why not diversify the economy in order to actually be able to eat something? Wouldn't that be wonderful? At the very least, grow crops to be able to eat on your own. To beg for foreign handouts to take care of your debt. Say, forgive our debt so that we can, forgive our own trespasses for being socialist for so long. Unfortunately, I see dark days ahead for Venezuela. You could see a coup tomorrow. You'd see a coup as early as tomorrow. I don't think it happens yet, but things are certainly shaping up that way. There hasn't been this level of anger and organization before. I don't know if Maduro is going to survive the encounter. That's about all. Peace out.